Hello, and welcome to the Architecture of Rural Living.
This podcast is all about what it takes to create a home in the countryside.
I'm Rebecca Baxter, Managing Director at Studio 11 Architecture.
And I'm Kris Baxter, Creative Director and Founder. We run an architectural practice that specialises in rural homes, and on today's episode we're touching the hot topic of local plans and call for sites.
So, what is a call for site? What do we mean by local plans and calls for sites?
So in essence, each district has a local plan. The local plan is the planning policy for that district, and it is the document to which all planning applications are measured against in terms of policy compliance. But ultimately, the local plan is only the starting point for decision making, and a significant material consideration of any plan application is what's called the National Planning Policy Framework. So our latest version is the 2024 version, and that sits slightly above the local plan. But what it does do is it informs the local plan, and with updates will have a significant material consideration in decision making of plan applications. What that means at the moment is the government are looking to change local plans and the style of how local plans are set out. And in doing that, what they have done recently is they have confirmed how they expect district authorities to have local plans presented, because some of them are very archaic, some of them are very clever and have interactive mapping systems and things like that. The government want to standardise that and make that a much more user-friendly approach. And in doing that, what they've also then done is they have recently submitted a consultation for updating the National Planning Policy Framework as well.
Okay, so what does this mean for local plans? How does a call for sites feed into that?
So now that local authorities know what they need to do in terms of delivery of local plans, there's some set timescales. Government are not messing around. They want local plans in place.
They want to build the homes they've promised.
They do. There are districts out there and councils out there that have local plans dating from the 1990s, which is crazy, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, quite a bit's changed in 30-something years.
Yeah. And we need to be clear that when we're looking at local plans, we're looking at local plans that are local plans for a period of time. So 20, 25, 30 years. That's fine. But that needs to be updated on a regular basis because it's a moving target each time. You can't just do a local plan and then sit on it and then wait till the end of it, because by the time you've got to the end of it, you're well out of date with everything. So it just becomes a fundamental mess. So you need to update that all the time. What government is suggesting that people do is that they come up with a format that allows people to actually do it a little bit quicker, which makes complete sense. And the call for sites mechanism relates to land to which landowners, developers, agents would like to put forward to be included in the local plan. So within each local plan, there's usually policies around settlements and settlement boundaries. And then they also talk about, how are they going to deliver housing for the next 20 years? How are they going to deliver commercial sites for the next 20 years? All of those things. All things that are identified needs. So there's research in the background of the local plan which identifies need of housing, types of tenure of housing, types of commercial units, all of those sorts of things. And what the call for sites is for each district authority to go out and say to all of those people, if you have a site that you want to put forward for any of those types of uses, then now is the time to do that. They do that as part of a review of those sites, and then those sites get put forward through assessments as to whether they're appropriate within the new local plan.
Okay, and then they are then allocated for housing. So if you were to put a planning application on that land, once it's been put forward and accepted as a site, it's easier to gain planning permission on that site?
Yes. So in essence, once the new local plan becomes adopted, there will be policies around housing and development within settlement boundaries. So theoretically, there's always a presumption in favour of development within settlement boundaries.
Right.
They will then say, okay, well, land outside of the settlement boundary, that presumption does not exist unless it is an allocation,
Right.
and the allocation is clearly marked on a mapping system with the local plan, and that allocation will confirm that it's been through the review process as part of the local plan and it is acceptable for the type of development that is proposed. So that could be residential, it could be commercial, it could be educational, it could be a multitude of different types of use.
Okay, and those sites are identified when they put out a call for sites. So they come forward, they're allocated in that local plan, and then in that local plan and that time when it's allocated, they then decide what housing or what development would be suitable on that land at that time.
That's correct. So in the background of the local plans, they are working out what's the minimum number of houses we're going to need by the time we get to, in this instance, it's probably going to be now we're going to be 2040-ish, something like that. So there'll be housing projections based on population growth and all of those sorts of things. And there's documents in the background that support all of that research that independent people do. And that follows through on education and commercial sites and things like that as well. So in doing that, then they then say, okay, well, to develop the local plan, I must be able to demonstrate that we are meeting that housing need. So then they then start to look at, okay, well, what are the sites that people have put forward as part of the call for sites, which would allow us to fulfill that need.
Brilliant. So if you're a landowner and you have a piece of land that you feel would be suitable for development in some way, how do you go about presenting that to the council?
So most councils who have got a call for sites out will have guidance on their website. I would always suggest that you probably talk to somebody in terms of a consultant that would assist you with that. So whether that be an architectural consultant or a planning consultant or somebody who can do both like ourselves, those sorts of consultants would be able to advise you, one, whether it is even worth putting forward, because there will be some obvious criteria as to, certain sites would not be worth putting forward. And then also, if you are going to put the site forward, making the case in the right way to the council as to, one, what type of development it could accommodate and why it could accommodate that. And that's to do with flood risk and location and all of those sorts of things.
So things they wouldn't necessarily know, the landowner wouldn't necessarily know themselves.
Correct.
It would be beneficial to speak to someone who would know all of that information for you.
Correct. So the council are going to look at this under certain criteria. Flood risk is one of the top ones on the list. Other ones are character of the area, environmental needs and environmental implications of development, all of those sorts of things. And you really have to be able to answer those questions properly in the appropriate manner to be able to put a site forward and give it the due diligence that it actually needs and the best chance, yes.
Okay, brilliant. How would you find out if your council are doing that at the moment?
Go onto your district authority's website and look on their planning pages, and they will normally tell you straight away whether there's a call for sites out or not. If not, speak to one of your local planning consultants or architectural consultants, and they will most certainly probably know already that whether there's a call for sites in that area or not.
Brilliant. Talk to me about size of land. Does the size of the land matter? What sort of criteria are we looking for?
So you'd very rarely do a call for sites submission on one plot, but you would look at, okay, well, what type of development could you accommodate on here? And you would then say, okay, well, based on the type of development, we'll tell you whether we can put an application for a call for sites in. And that could be anything from 150 residential houses, so that's quite a considerable size site, or it could simply be 5 self-built dwellings, for instance.
And do we have to, when they are putting this land forward, do they have to demonstrate what that would look like, or is it a simple exercise? Is it a costly exercise for somebody to do?
It's not particularly a costly exercise. There's most consultants will charge a fairly nominal fee to make the application. If there's associated work with it in justifying the development, so for instance, you will definitely need a location plan. It's highly likely that you'll be asked to maybe look at a master plan, for instance. Now, there's obviously a cost to doing that, but the positive of that is that you can clearly demonstrate that you can accommodate X number of units on a site in a well-designed scheme.
Okay, so we're not talking big architectural fees. We're
We're not.
not talking massive planning fees here. A
No.
nominal small amount to put your site forward, and potentially then be able to sell it onto a developer, develop it yourself, or whatever you choose the next step being.
That's it. We're not talking thousands. We're talking hundreds, and it's almost the starting point to think, well, okay, well, if this does have some mileage, then obviously you then are looking at being able to either turn the land as an allocation or develop the land yourself.
Brilliant. So really, if you have a plot of land, the best thing to do is go online, see if your council are doing a call for sites at the moment, find somebody that you trust or has experience in the area with the expertise that can help you, and get that land put forward in time.
Yes, absolutely.
Brilliant. Well, thank you everybody for listening today. Keep on following further conversations on how to build a home in the open countryside.